Are you excited about this workshop?
Yes.
Know what it is all about? Yeah? You don't know what it's about. Okay, it's about studies. But it's not just about studies, teaching students how to study is like teaching a fish how to swim. You have to teach fish to swim. Oh, they already know it, right? And you, being students, you also know how to study, right? So I'm not here to teach you how to study, but I'm here to teach you how to study smart and not hard. Okay? Are you all doing a lot of hard work now, studying every day? Okay, now before I share with you my techniques of smart study, let me find out what is your budget or so. Okay? So, tell me, how many hours in a day do you study? Not in the school, no. Consider the school part. Once you come home, how many hours do you spend in study? Oh, no, sir, be honest. Okay? So, in terms of hours or minutes. Average,
Around 30.
35 minutes. Okay, how about you? 1 hour in a day. Good. From what time to what time?
Any?
Any time. And lastly, how about you?
Well, 1.5 hours.
1.5 hours. What time?
6:30 to 8.
Every day? Perfect. At 8 o'clock, what do you do?
8.
You eat. Then you sleep. And you wake up at what time?
6.
6 in the morning. So you have 6 plus 4 or 6 plus 9 hours. Yeah. Right. What?
I study for 2.
2 hours. Okay. So average 1 hour to 2 hours, everybody studies in a day, right? Okay, good. But when the exam comes, you study more. Obviously, right? You can't be studying for 30 minutes or 35 minutes. Okay. Now my question is, when you sit down to study, what is your method of study? Let's say, for example, what is your subject? You study physics? No physics or what? What do you
Social
social?
science.
Social science. Okay. So when you're studying social science, okay. How do you study? I want to know, do you read a lot?
I read and just remember it.
You read and remember.
Yeah.
So you need the textbook and we start reading, right?
Yeah.
And you read for, you said you study for 2 hours.
Yeah. I read, then write. Then I.
What do you write? What do you write?
The same thing. My mother writes questions for me. So after reading, I have to complete the questions.
So you answer the question.
Yeah. It's an essay after write and study.
Okay, so then we have speak to some grown-up students. So how many days do you spend studying in a day?
I was home. Probably 2 to 3 hours.
This is the hour. And what is your favorite method of study?
I like to read the textbook and when the points I find important,
Yeah.
I note it down and I make my own question, make my own points and answer.
So you do make notes and
Yeah.
you refer to your notes, speak with me.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good way to study. Okay, so now let me tell you something about smart study. So what if I tell you that you can learn twice as much in less study time and be more effective? Is that good news?
Yes.
You want to do that? Okay, so you study less, but you learn more. Yeah. So that is our goal, and that is what we're going to discuss here. And there are different learning methods. If you have your own learning methods, there are some scientifically proven learning methods. So once you have this knowledge of learning methods, then it makes your studies more efficient. But anything, if there is a method to it, it is more efficient. Do you agree with me? If you do something without planning, without a procedure, or a method or a technique, well, you end up doing something. You end up doing something, but the result will not be exactly what you want. Okay, that is because there was no method. There was no proper steps or an idea or that plan how to go about things. Okay. So once you use learning methods, then you get a distinct advantage over your friends, over your classmates, over your peers, because you will be able to learn better, understand better than the other people. Okay, that is once you understand the learning techniques. So that is what we're going to discuss. So in my opinion, there are two kinds of students: the master students and the shipwrecked students. Well, it's like a shipwreck. Now what's a shipwreck? Yeah. So master students are committed to using learning methods to increase their efficiency of study. Whereas shipwrecked students, they're like in a shipwreck, they're just floating on the water and they are trying hard to stay afloat. And that is exactly what they're doing. They're studying a lot, but they're just passing the exam with minimum grade, or they understand a little bit of the hard work they are putting. They're not really living a full life. No, they are just struggling to stay afloat, just to survive. Okay. Whereas master students, they are very cool. If you look at them, they don't even feel like, they're the ones who sit and study a lot. Because they are happy, they have more time for other things. Okay. Whereas the other students, the shipwreck students are still studying. Okay. And that they are not really learning what they should. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. And I'm going to share with you 10 scientifically proven methods that you can apply in your studies. And if you apply these techniques in your studies, trust me, you will be learning more using less study. And they're not rocket science, they're not difficult things. These are simple things which you need to understand, which you need to know are there. Okay, because if you're ignorant about these techniques, obviously you will not be applying them in your life and you won't be achieving the great results. Okay, so let us look at the first technique that I'm going to share with you is the Pomodoro technique and the cycle negative effect. That sounds difficult. Have you heard of these things before? The Pomodoro technique? The cycle effect? No. Okay, so before I explain about what this Pomodoro technique is, do you see a graph pen? It's not very clear. On the y-axis is your efficiency of studying, and on the x-axis is the time you spent studying. Okay, and you will find something interesting here. And let me explain it by telling you the story of a boy who was doing reasonably at rather average student. Okay, he used to study well and he used to appear for his exams, and he would pass the exams with just minimum grade, passing marks. But obviously his teachers were not happy with it, his parents were not happy with it. Okay, so they pulled him over, shouted at him, scolded him, advised him that he better study harder for the next year. So this guy, fed up with all this shouting and scolding from his parents and teachers, he decided that I am going to study a lot this year. He said, I'm going to study for 6 hours every single day. That's not a joke. You're studying only 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. But this guy decided every single day, I'm going to sit down and study for 6 hours. And he did that. Dedicatedly, honestly, sincerely. He studied 6 hours a day for the next full year. The exams came, and then the results came. And guess what happened? He failed in most of his exams. He failed. Despite spending 6 hours every single day studying. Okay, so let us see what happened here. So when you sit down to study, let's count the sides. So when you sit down to study, this is 0, okay? I know you can't see it clearly. In the beginning time of your studies, how's your efficiency? Full, right? 100%. Because you are fresh, the more tired, huh? And you just started to study, so you're full of josh and energy. So whatever you read, you understand. So that means you are at your 100% peak efficiency. Then you study and the efficiency remains 100% for some time. And then the longer you study, your efficiency starts falling down. It keeps declining and it almost becomes zero as the number of hours increase. See that? This happens with everybody. So when you study initially, your retention is at its peak, your ability to concentrate is at the top, you understand everything, okay, everything is going fine, but only for a while. And after that, you may keep studying, but what you understand and what you learn will keep on decreasing. So this is a fact. So we need to learn some lessons from here. Okay. Do you know that exactly at which point it starts falling down? The efficiency is 100% up to 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, if you study, then your efficiency is going down. So what should we do? What should we do? At 30 minutes, stop study. Good news. So your 30 minutes is good. Every day, study only for 30 minutes. Okay? The children are very happy. The parents are not very happy. In India, just study for 30 minutes. Okay. So the Pomodoro technique actually says to study for small chunks of time. Don't sit and study for 1 hour or 2 hours in a stretch. Then this will happen. A guy who fight earlier, he studied for 6 hours continuously. How much did he actually learn? Only in the first 30 minutes. That for 5 hours, 30 minutes, he was simply wasting time studying. So he was not really understanding what he was doing. Okay, so Pomodoro technique is to study in small chunks of time, and that ideal chunk of time is 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, so does that mean you stop studying at 30 minutes, pack your books and go to play? No, it means you study for 30 minutes at a stretch and then you take a break. Okay, and then you come back again and then you start fresh. So when you start fresh, where is your efficiency? 100%. It goes until how long? 30 minutes. So for another 30 minutes, your efficiency is at its peak. And then what do? You take a break. Okay. So basically, if you are going to study for, let's say, 1 hour, then you do it in 2 chunks. If you are going to do it for 1.5 hours, then you study for 3 chunks of time. Okay? Study for 25 minutes, take a break. Study for another 25 minutes, take a break. Study for another 25 minutes. And that has a magical effect on your studies. You might think it couldn't, because essentially you're studying for 1.5 hours or 2 hours. But the magic trick is you take a break in between. And do you understand why I said we should take a break? Take a break because you want to stop when your attention span has gone, when you're unable to focus or concentrate, or when your imagination starts wandering. You're reading your social science, correct? But your mind is going on around the world, correct? Then will you understand what you're reading? No. So you have to stop it at that point of time. When your thoughts start wandering, or when your attention starts decreasing, that is the time to stop. And as per Hubno, that ideal chunk of time to stop is after 35 to 30 minutes. So that is the first trick. And I will explain it more later on when I come.
I have a question.
Yes.
How long should we take breaks for?
Yes, sir. I would come to it. Okay. I want to explain this core process in detail. And this is the crux of today's workshop. How to optimize your study time. Okay. So, sometimes people ask me, okay, sir, I'm studying for 25 minutes. I'm full of joy, I'm full of energy. And I've not finished the chapter. I've not finished reading the concept yet. That you think it's a good idea to stop when I'm going in full steam? Do you think that stopping while you're actually interested in your studying, that's a bad idea and that would interrupt my studies? Yeah, that's a good question, right? But actually it doesn't. Why? Because then something called the Zeigarnik effect kicks in. Now, what is Zeigarnik effect? I want you to listen to this very carefully. Zeigarnik effect is a concept in psychology which argues that when your brain tends to remember unfinished task or incomplete task or that finished tasks. Understood? Meaning, if you have completed a task, your brain will know, yeah, that job is open, so it will switch off. But if the job that you're doing is incomplete, that your mind will keep mulling over it, will keep thinking about it. Oh, that job is not finished, it's not finished, I have to finish it, right? So what we do is, you start a task and then you interrupt it. And when you interrupt it, it creates a task-specific tension in your mind. It's not a great tension, but a mild tension, that I have not finished the job. So if you finally keep thinking about it and keep that subject on top of your mind. Okay, so let's say you sat down to study, you study physics or sociology. Okay, you studied for 25 minutes, stop right in between, right? Right in between the chapter, and then you went for a break. So even when you go for a break, your brain, without your knowledge, would be thinking about that subject. Well, the brain knows that I have not finished the entire chapter, then I have to finish it, that it is incomplete. Okay, I haven't fully understood the concept. So it's thinking about it. So when you come back after the break to study the same subject, continue with the subject, your brain would be more ready to understand the subject. You understand? So that is Zeigarnik effect. So whenever you start a job and you interrupt it, that your mind will keep on thinking about the job. Which is a good thing for your study. So it's not a bad thing. What I'm trying to say here is, when you take a break after 30 minutes of study, it's not at all a bad idea. Don't think, stopping studies when you're fully into it, it's a bad idea. It's a good idea. And studying for 25 to 30 minutes of time and then taking a break is very long. And I'll tell you how long you should take the break and what you should do during the break. Okay, I'll explain that a little short. So I hope you understood the Pomodoro technique and the Zeigarnik effect. So what does Pomodoro technique tell you? Study in small chunks of time. Study in small chunks of time. And Zeigarnik effect tells you, don't worry, if you interrupt your studies after 30 minutes, then your mind will be thinking about that subject even without your knowledge. And when you come back to study, your mind would be, or your brain would be more ready to receive new information for that chapter. Okay.